What's going on, Niner fam? And welcome to the Niner Fanatic Podcast. The It's Friday. Hopefully everybody's about to enjoy their weekend. It's been an interesting week for the 49ers. Like as far as there's been a lot going on. As far as you got training camp, you've got Hall of Fame game, you got there's some other stuff that we're going to talk about, but. Um, yeah, interesting week, and I'm interested in getting into it with you, the rest of y'all out there. So before we get into any of it, we got to hit the music.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I like to know.
are you ready for start time?
And once again, it is Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast, and like I said, it's Friday. Everybody should be turning up. It's training camp. Well, I think they have another practice tomorrow. But we had Hall of Fame game yesterday. There's a lot going. The top 100. People are talking about all kinds of different things right now in Twitter land and all over social media, and a lot of it's. I mean, we can be excited about some of it. Let's get excited that Patrick Willis is about to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm thoroughly excited to watch that induction. I'm so happy that he made it in, and there was I can't even believe that it was in doubt that he might not make it in. I get it that he retired a little early, but at the same time, the guy played at the highest level for every single year he was in the league, and I think it's thoroughly deserved. Another piece of news: Frank Gore's making it into the Niners Hall of Fame as well, and the inconvenient truth, as everybody else called him, I called him the whole damn offense. That was his nickname from me, because when he was at his height, the 49er, he was the entire 49er offense. Like we had zero quarterback play, and not to really kill on Alex Smith or any of the other quarterbacks at the time, but this man was going up against 8-man boxes just because the 49ers couldn't throw the ball. So, but so you've got that going on. Also, we've got training camp to talk about. Still got Ayuk sitting out there. I mean, people were getting excited about a DAP. I don't get it. I think I'm very sure that I'm almost positive that Ayuka is going to get re-signed. But at the same time, we're just grasping for straws so much every single day that a simple handshake turns into, oh, does that mean he's getting signed? And look at the way that the dap. Look at the way it was. Because I mean, that's that says all you need to know about if a guy signed a contract or not. I mean, this is the thing. We're gonna hear about it when we hear about it. Like real talk. Like we're gonna hear about it when we hear about it. And I'm pretty sure he's going to resign. But and I hope that he does. I just hope that he does. I'm right along with I think of most of the 49er fan base out there that I think most of us hope that he resigns. I think there's a few people out there that could care less at this point, and they just want the drama to end. But it's only drama if you let it be drama. The media is going to say what the media is going to say, and if you let it get to you, then you let it get to you. But yeah, I just get a good feeling that he's going to re-sign with the 49ers, and I think this is going to be a good year. There was a lot of good tidbits in training camp that we're seeing A lot of information. Got some people that are progressing. I mean, we got some good feedback about the new rookies coming in, and we got some people regressing. Guys that we already thought were busts are playing like busts. So, but you got to start. Like, I mean, I'm not going to talk a lot about Ayuk. I'm just not going to. There's no real point in it, but to frustrate people. And but make sure you get the video. Like, make sure that you give it a subscribe. Make sure that you hit the bell so you get the notifications for when I go live. And yeah, the other thing that was going on today. Oh, just so you know, we are on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Twitch. I think I'm gonna start going on to Kick as well, so you can catch me there as well. I don't care where you get it, just get it. You, if you don't want to look at the face, you can always get the audio version anywhere where you get your audio podcast. So just like I said, I don't care where you get it, just get it. But now we got to talk about the top 100. Some more NFL news, overall NFL news. And Tyreek Hill, number one player voted by the players. And I don't know if you can argue it per se, just because he's a phenomenal player. And with in the right system, not even in the right system, the guy's just dangerous. Because his speed, you're just constantly fearing his speed. I'll be really interested once he gets a little older and and the speed kind of regresses a little bit. Can he be as effective? Because I do think that he's a really good wide receiver. I think he can run routes, and I'm just interested to see how that's going to look. But yeah, number one, Trent Williams was number 7. Brock Purdy was 28, I believe. And but Trent Williams being 7 still at like 36 years old, still just recognized as the best left tackle in the game. I believe George Kittle was, I got to look that up. Oh, wait. I'm looking at the wrong thing. George Kittle, top 100. Kittle was number 14. Kittle was number 14 in the top 100. The Niners had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think they had 9 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people in the top 100. That means almost 10% of the top 100 players in the NFL are 49ers. That's wild to think of. There's 32 teams in the league. Okay? Like, for the 49ers to have almost 10% of the top players in the league voted on by the players, that's a wild stat. And I got some people in the chat. I got to recognize my people. Throwback in the house. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Roberto in the building. What up, faithful? Absolutely. Highly in the building. We got a highly sighting. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Always a pleasure. And we gotta get in the space. I gotta get in the spaces. Hopefully, we have some Niner spaces soon enough. Tell Roscoe to get on his stuff. But yeah, it's the top 100. Wild. That's wild. Because you got Christian McCaffrey ended up number 3 overall, ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Which, I mean, come on now. We're all 49er fans here, but at the same time, would anybody take Christian McCaffrey over Patrick Mahomes? To me, Patrick Mahomes belongs at number 1. I mean, I'm not a player, so I wasn't voting, but I can't imagine any player picking Christian McCaffrey over Patrick Mahomes. I can't imagine them picking Tyreek Hill over Patrick Mahomes either. But here we are. And for Patrick Mahomes to be number 4 coming off of his third Super Bowl win, uh, man, it's tough. It's a tough crowd. You had Fred Warner at number 11. Bosa ended up at 27. He had kind of a down year, but so I mean that's probably warranted. Debo was number 30, and that what was interesting to me. Debo had kind of a down year last year, but he was still voted by the players as number 30 out of the top 100. And Brandon Ayuk, who I feel like had his best season, what ended up at number 66. Now, I feel like that could have been because, you know, I think this is Brandon Ayuk's first time on the top 100 list, but it might be his, I don't know, is it his second? Let me know in the chat if it's his first. But I felt like he would, this was his, last year was his coming out party. And I'm really interested to see what he does this season because I think he is the key for Brock's maturation process and I think he's the key for Brock's future. Uh, as those two just become a duo and they're just going to be linked as Brock gets his deal next season. I just think that they're going to be linked for the foreseeable future. And yeah, 66 to me was kind of low. I think for what Brandon Ayuk does and being a complete receiver, the blocking, the physical nature, the route running, everything that he does, being the most not just figuratively speaking, but statistically speaking, the most efficient wide receiver in the league as well. Uh, 66 is kind of low, but and for him not to be recognized by his peers, hey, they don't get it. They don't get it every time, I guess. But then you've got who else was in that? Brandon Ayuk. Oh, Drake Greenlaw broke the top 100. We finally, Greenlaw finally getting his respect because Greenlaw, and I've talked about Greenlaw a ton on my show, but Greenlaw is a perfect complement to Fred Warner because Fred Warner is the finesse. He has got the he's gonna cover your best tight. He's gonna cover his zone, and he's the best linebacker in the league in my opinion. But then you've got Dre Greenlaw, the enforcer, and doing the things that Fred can't always do. Otherwise, Fred's gonna get in trouble. It just seems like he's the goon. Like he's the goon for Fred Warner and does some of the things that Fred Warner, like I said, Fred Warner just he's not gonna. Fred Warner is the clean cut. Like I mean, he don't play dirty. Dre, and he don't. I wouldn't say Dre Greenlaw plays dirty, but at the same time, he straddles that line, and I think he's done a much better job. I think he did a much better job last season of not straddle. Like he still got pretty close there a few times, but I think he did a much better job of keeping his emotions in check and being uh, more of a complete linebacker per se. I mean, I think I can say that. And so yeah, top 100. I don't know how does the chat. How do you guys feel about the top 100? Do we really take that much from the top 100? Do we really trust the players to look at how these guys play and make? I mean, I guess they play against them. They should know the best, like how good these guys are. But at the same time, we've seen players make some crazy lists, and I don't know what they be looking at sometimes. But yeah, it's I just don't really pay attention to the lists that often. Because if you do, you'll go crazy. Um, but I wanted to talk about training camp today and what was. There's been some interesting developments. I'll say this from what I've heard. I haven't been at training camp, but we have great people on the ground at training camp. Big up to Jesse Naylor. Big up to all the beat writers. Nick Wagner, love Nick Wagner. Cam Inman, even Grant Cohn. Give Grant his props. He does his videos every single day, and uh, and then you've got who else? Who else? There's been Steph Sanchez. Steph's always a good listen. Uh, Brad Graham, like I can't not mention Brad. And but you got all these people giving really great content and giving us some real good insight as to what's going on at camp. And so I kind of read between the lines. You got to listen to all of these guys and then kind of see what is the common threads of of the vibes in camp. And so I wanted to talk about that today. And I want to start off with all of the people that didn't practice for either they're hurt or they're holding out, holding in. But we got Brandon Ayuk holding in still. You got the Silverback still holding out, and hopefully they get his deal done soon. I just want that done. I know it's going to happen. It's just a question of when. And it's not that I need him in camp because I know he's going to come in uh, and look. I don't worry about Trent Williams. So, but then you've got Jawan Jennings was out with an ankle today. Christian McCaffrey took a vet day. Nick Bosa took a vet day. Curtis Robinson, Logan Thomas, both dealing with hamstring issues. Isaac Garendo is still dealing with his hamstring issue, which sounds like it's going to probably be a minute for him. And offensive lineman Jarrett Kingston, Aaron Banks, both of them dealing with back issues. Spencer Burford's dealing with the hand. We all know about his broken hand. It sounds like Kyle said today that he's going to be back in probably a couple of weeks. He's not. I don't think he's going to have surgery. So that's a good news for that. Jacob Cowing dealing with the hamstring and Tay Martin dealing with the hamstring. So a lot of hamstring issues, and it's not a good sign. I'll be honest because we deal with we've all been watching the 49ers over the years, right? And there was a couple of years ago where the 49ers were just having a real bad time with injuries. And I guess it's good now that they get it out of the way, but at the same time, I don't like the fact a lot of hamstring injuries. Those are the types of injuries that linger. And those are the type of injuries that creep up later on down the road and turn into hamstring tears instead of just pulls. So it kind of makes me leery. I don't like hearing about hamstrings. It worries me. We got some other people in the chat. McNiner, appreciate you coming through. Always a pleasure. Make sure you check out my guy. Give him a follow on Twitter, as well as him and Brian Culp do great content on YouTube. You need to find their page. Steve-O in the building. Pooty not making teams. I didn't say he wasn't making the team. I never said he wasn't making the team. What I said was that he wasn't probably going to start. But that was before every interior offensive lineman went down with injuries. So now here we are, and that's it's part of football. And I'm gonna talk about Pooney later, but we can talk about him now. Like this is the thing, Pooney has looked really good, and it wasn't that I didn't like the pick. I'm still upset with the 49ers for not taking a tackle earlier. But the Pooney pick obviously is so far. I mean, it's still camp. We don't know what it would look like in the game. But he's had the inside track. Like he's taken advantage of his opportunity. And with Burford and Feliciano and all the guys going down. Oh, they did. There was some other news about that. It said Oh, they said that the injured guys, Jennings, um, Banks, Aaron Banks, Robinson, Cowing, and Burford all were doing work on the side or individual drills. Um, and they said Banks and Jennings are expected to come back really soon. The new offensive lineman that they signed to, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, or it might have been this morning. Um, Pat Elfline that they got. Oh well, he's got a calf injury already. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And Danny Gray and John Feliciano are dealing with knee issues, but they were back at practice. But still, even with Feliciano being back at practice, Pooney was still going with the ones, which that's huge. For Kyle to put you in with the ones as a rookie, that's huge. And he talked glowingly about Pooney today at his press conference. So that's a good sign for Pooney. I mean, and the way I look at it is this: they thought because Feliciano's not bad. He is not bad, and he was next to Trent Williams. He graded out as the best offensive lineman for the 49ers last season, after Trent Williams, of course. But for Felice, and I don't know if Feliciano has been able to really catch his footing. He's been dealing with injuries since camp started. So and he was playing some center. He's just been kind of all over the place. So, but Pooney getting those reps, those are valuable reps for a rookie. And from all accounts that I've heard from every single content creator, Pooney's looked good. Now there was been a couple of times, of course, where he didn't look good, and there was a video out of Chris Forster just reaming him. But I think that's good. I think that's good. I think they're putting pressure on him because I think that they think he can be better. That's that's the way I look at it. He's a mountain of a man, and I think that I'm interested to see. I'm not worried about his pass protection at all because that's what he's good at. Anybody that did any scouting on him coming out of college knows that he was a really good pass protector. Where he struggled was his run blocking. So that's where I'm interested in seeing, especially I'll be looking for it in preseason, is how he looks in the run game. Because yeah, that's kind of I feel like that would go a long way to making me feel more at ease about this offensive line because the left side I'm not really worried about. You got Trent Williams, Aaron Banks they do all the running to the left side. If they can get one solid guy on the right side with McKivitz, and because McKivitz needs help, but I would say this: I heard a lot of good things about the offensive line today in practice, and it's specifically in the run game, which makes me think. And McKivitz got some glowing reviews from content creators and from some of the beat writers about his run blocking, which has never been a strength of his. And if he can put some put some of that together and develop, I mean, that would be huge for this offense. If they can get anything out of the right side for this run game, I mean, Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason could have, and whoever else they want to run, because we're going to talk about this running back room later. But they got horses in that running back room. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. At the very at the very least, I am pleasantly surprised. There are all kinds of injuries along this offensive line so far, and they still found a way to look halfway decent. And in the run game and in the pass game today, Brock Purdy had a decent day. He went 5 of 8. I know we're not paying attention, but he didn't throw any picks. And not that I care about picks. Can we talk about that for a second? Because I know Ooh, that's a good point. And I'm gonna get back to it. But this is a good point by uh by McNiner. New trainer having hamstring. We lost the 49ers lost their trainer. Uh their what? Their athletic I'm trying to remember what his actual title was. But they lost their main health and conditioning, strength and conditioning coach. And so they got a new guy, and now all of a sudden they're having hamstring issues. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign. And maybe they just have to get used to the new regimen. I don't know, but I'll be keeping an eye on that. And I know everybody else will as well. But what's going on, Justin? Appreciate you coming through, fam. Oh yeah, week one we will be like I'm gonna try something new this year, and I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna be going live while the game is going on. I can't broadcast the game, but I'm gonna be right there. I want to be right there and kind of experiencing the game, like doing my show live during the game. So we'll see how that works out. Like I'm just gonna try it out this year. Hopefully the 49ers get a win in that week one matchup against the Jets. I think the way this defense is looking in camp, like so far, I think that they are definitely back to. I'm not going to say that they're until we see it on the field, but I get the vibe that from all accounts that they are kind of back to what in the way that so Yadam talked today, and I hate to keep moving or jumping around, but Yadam talked today in his press conference about how he doesn't worry about about letting a guy get by him because he knows that he's got guys backing him up today. And I thought that was an interesting tidbit because that was the vibe that we had when we had D'Amico. And we're hearing more and more good things about Nick Sorensen. We're hearing more and more great things about having Staley in the building and what he's doing with the secondary. And the secondary just loves his. They think he's a genius. All that good stuff. I feel like they're going to get back to that just complete downhill mentality and just really kind of throwing their bodies around, being physical, and really just gang tackling and got there just doing your job and letting the other guy come and clean up the mess. That is really was behind what was behind Miko's defense. And that's what we missed last year, in my opinion. In my opinion. It's and I don't know how everybody else felt about it, but I felt like we were just a little soft. We played soft zone a lot last season. Where there we held teams to like no points, but and I get it. Like, but at the same time, the amount of time of possession that we were giving up, that the 49ers were giving up because of the soft zone and because we were just letting teams go down the field and then tightening up in the red zone, it was playing that bend but don't break style. It wasn't giving the offense enough opportunities, in my opinion. They weren't getting off the field on third down. And I feel like this season is going to get back to that physical, beat them up and take their lunch money mentality. I want to see the other team get hit in the mouth and think twice about running that same play again. That's really what I would like to see from the 49ers because that's 40 in my opinion that has been 49er football since Shanahan has got here until last season. So, and the way that the players are talking about it, I feel like that's that. And if you watched some of the Fred Warner was mic'd up today. If you watch the 49ers YouTube page, the Fred Warner was mic'd up and like that was the vibe. Is that the defense just assuming that they're going to be taking the ball. I hear a lot about a lot of pass breakups, a lot of interceptions so far in camp. It's not it's not out of the realm of possibility that this team, the one the so the one area that I do worry about is the run game, because I just finished talking about how this offensive line was looking good against at the run game. I just want to see what this day. I don't know if that means that the offensive line is better, or if the defensive line is giving up ground. And because we are missing Eric Armstead, we all know that that's a hole. Now, they've gone games and games and games without Eric Armstead before and not missed a beat in run defense. But I'm really interested to see if that's the case. If it's actually the offensive line, or if it's the defense, the defensive line just can't hold up in run protection. So, what are we gonna see in that first preseason game? I don't think we're gonna see much of the starters, but at the same time, that's an interesting dynamic that we have to think about. So, um, another guy I want to talk about is but oh well, let's finish talking about McKivitz and Jalen Moore, because I'll tell you this: I have dogged on both of those guys. I've dogged on both of those guys. McKivitz is, to me, has been just as advertised. To be honest, we all thought that he was going to be a problem. He isn't an asset now. He is start. I guess he is able to start and be a functional starter. You can't have the number one overall offense or number two overall offense without having a viable offensive line. But at the same time, he wasn't helping us. He wasn't helping them much. He wasn't helping Brock Purdy much. He wasn't helping Christian McCaffrey much. They couldn't even run to the right side on his side. So, but then Jalen Moore had been, I mean, he'd been Jalen Moore. He's a perennial backup. But as he's gotten reps, which amazingly enough, when he's gotten more reps, he's looked solid. He actually stonewalled Nick Bosa the other day in practice, which apparently the sideline just erupted from the offensive lineman. But Jalen Moore, if Jalen Moore can develop, that would be huge, because what we've been waiting. The thing is about this offensive line for the 49ers is this: we've been we've been cursed with mediocrity along this offensive line for years. And the guys that the 49ers have chosen to bring in and put them all over the line. They can't really get a footing in any one position because the 49ers are constantly moving them around, the offensive line. The whole thing about the 49ers, they value versatility. Okay, well, when you don't get a chance to solidify yourself in a certain position, you're not going to build up. You're not going to build continuity there, and I feel like Jalen Moore, with Trent Williams being out, has gotten a chance to build up some continuity, and that might be why he's looking a little bit better. Then you've got Colton McKivitz. Could the light bulb finally be going off? Last year was his first year starting. Could the light bulb be finally going off, and because he's not going to get more athletic. Let's just say that. He's not the most athletic guy on the planet. But can he learn to work with the athleticism that he has to just be to just be a little bit better? If we can just get a little bit better of a McKivitz, I would think that that's a win. That's a win. And if Pooney proves to be what he's showing in camp, and as they go into these preseason games, as they go into the joint practices, and I really take a lot out of those joint practices and what they look like there. But what we'll see from that I think is going to be huge. Because oh, so Papa J is in the building. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Probably the first preseason game that I've really been excited about seeing what our backups can do. Absolutely, because this is the thing. If there's that, we know who the starters are for the 49ers for the most part. The start, like, we've got to see the future, because guess what's going to happen next year? Like, they're going to pay BA this year. I'm pretty positive. Like, next year they're going to pay Purdy. At that point, it's gonna be some tough decisions on from that 49er pocketbook is gonna be kind of empty. So now you've got to make decisions, and now it's going to be about those guys, those backups. Who are your backups? Who have you been developing this whole time? And while I think that the 49ers team is deep right now, they won't be deep when that happens. And some of those guys are going to have to move into starting positions. Can they develop? And that's going to be a huge question. Uh, and JC in the building. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Finally able to catch a live. Hey, you gotta come through. We fam. Like, you're supposed to be coming through all the time. But appreciate you coming through, JC. And then, Fortnite, Bashar in the building. Like, make sure you follow my guy, Bashar. Make sure that you subscribe to his channel. He does great content. He talks about great pizza over there. Big up to my guy, Bashar. And, but yeah, it's going to be. I'm just so anxious for preseason. I just want to see somebody on the field. I want to see some football. Last night wasn't really football, like for me. Watching the return game, it wasn't really as advertised, and I don't think that's going to be the final product. I think as we see every time we see it, it's going to be a little bit different. So that we saw that version that last night. It'll be interesting to see what the next game that we all see under the new rules, how they choose to do it. But it kind of ended up exactly the way uh, our special teams coach talked about it. Like, as far as just kicking a dirty ball to keep them from the other team's returner from really getting any semblance of a lane. So, like, I don't think it's going to be as much scoring as the players seem to think that there's just going to be all kinds of big plays coming out of this. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. So, they said Papa said, I think this is going to be the best rookie class we've had in a long time. Any thoughts on that? So I think Pooney has played well. He's played well. I can't argue. He's a rookie. He's a rookie, but he's played well so far. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see once Feliciano and Burford get back on the mend. Do they take their spot back, or is Pooney actually distancing himself from that pack now? Because I think that Burford and them are going to have a leg up. I think Feliciano is definitely going to have a leg up because he played so well last season. So I think he is the de facto person. I know there's a lot of hype around Pooney, but I think that Feliciano is probably going to be the guy as long as if things kind of not stay the same, but if Feliciano can stay healthy and he gets a chance to actually show, like, if it becomes an actual competition, I think Feliciano actually wins that job. But I wouldn't be against Pooney starting and getting his lumps early, just like Burford did, and seeing how he reacts to that. Uh, yeah, I just didn't think that it was going to be a possibility that he could be starting, but I didn't think that Feliciano and Burford were going to get hurt like right away like that. I should have thought about that, but Pooney has taken advantage of his opportunity, and big ups to the kid. But the other Renardo Green, the other team, the secondary is talking glowingly about Renardo Green, and even, I mean, I don't know if you saw the video from Juwan Jennings, about talking about Ronaldo Green. Everybody seems to love his mentality. He's working. Isaac Yadam said in his interview today that he looks great and that they love the kid and he works hard. So I think Ronaldo Green is a hit. Um, who else? I'm interested to see what Jared Kingston can bring. I know that they tried him out at right tackle the other day, which I thought was interesting. I don't know why they like to use these guys with short arms, but uh, I wonder what was. And of course, yeah, Malik Mustafa. That kid is a beast, and he has looked good the entire camp. Um, Isaac Garendo, he can't get on the field. Jacob Cowan can't get on the field. Tatum Bethune has looked good though, and so that's an interesting little wrinkle. But I think D Winters has looked good. I think all the young linebackers have so far looked good. It's kind of easy to look good when you got Fred Warner next to you. Uh, but and with all these other defenders, I think that it's. But Tatum Bethune so far, we've gotten really good reviews from him as well. Uh, I haven't heard much about Evan Anderson. Jalen Mahoney, the safety, the undrafted free agent. I've heard good things about Jalen Mahoney. Now he's 5'11", 200 out of Vanderbilt. I don't know how that would work. Like we just, I'll be interested. I'm going to be looking for him in preseason because I like Brazen Mays just got cut. Tanner Mordecai, I think he's going to end up being practice squad. But so far, early returns on him is he's looked kind of soft. Like he had his rough start at the beginning, but he didn't look too bad the other day from all accounts. Drake Nugent, I haven't really heard much about Drake Nugent. I've heard that he's gotten reps, but they haven't said anything, which tells me he's exactly what I thought he was going to be, which is he is a backup center. He's tiny, 6'1", 298 for an NFL center. It's little. So I could see him as a backup, but that's where I think his future is. Tariq Owens has made plays. Now, has he made enough plays to push a guy like Conley or Ronnie Bell? Now, Ronnie Bell's had a rough camp so far, but he had a pretty decent day today. I heard he had a pretty okay day yesterday. Could he be turning a corner? I don't know. But Tariq Owens, big bodied wide receiver, 6'3", 193. I mean, and he's been solid from all accounts. I haven't heard him drop a lot of passes or any of that kind of stuff. So Mason Pline, we haven't really heard much, but I don't. I think that there's a glut at that tight end position, and I've heard a lot of good things about Saubert, which is surprising. But you never know in this 49er offense. You just never know in this 49er offense. And then Cody Schrader, I think Grant Cohn said he was the best rookie he was the best guy out of the whole rookie class. I think he looks I'll be interested to see him in preseason because the thing about Cody Schrader is the skills are there, the footwork is there, the vision is there. Can the athleticism? Does he have enough athleticism to be that to be solid enough to make this team? And I don't know that he does, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, and I just ugh. But it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have for the 49ers. And JC said he got a dog. You preaching to the choir. Like I got 3, so I feel you. Uh, but and then I didn't even mention Pearsall, but Pearsall is CG in the house. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Pearsall has had his. He, for the most part, I've heard good things about Pearsall, but every now and then, it seemed like he was doing a little bit too much, a little bit too much with the footwork, and but the couple of videos that I saw, he's silky. He is silky. I feel like he is what they wanted Dante Pettis to be, and I know that you probably heard content creators say that. But it's a good comp. I'll be honest with you. He looks very similar now with a little bit of an edge, just because he's got a little swag to his game, and he be doing the one handed catches and like that kind of stuff. And I'll be interested to see when we get and we keep talking about it once we get into preseason and we start because he gonna probably get some looks in preseason. I'd be shocked if he didn't. And what that part looks like. I just because they're gonna be running some vanilla stuff. They're not gonna really be running the Shanahan offense, and it's just gonna be some basic routes. Can he break? Uh, can he get open against NFL cornerbacks that are pressing him on the line? That is going to be the story of preseason for Ricky Pearsall, and because he's not going to have Shanahan's offense to get him scheming him open. That's not going to be Shanny does nothing but vanilla in the preseason. The offense never looks explosive, or like very rarely. I think there was the one year where Trey made a couple of throws, long throws, and people got all excited. But for the most part, in the preseason, they just run a bunch of vanilla, and they don't. There's not a lot of explosiveness. So they're definitely not going to show that. Channy's not going to show his hand on what he's going to have in the regular season. So but that gives an opportunity for these wide receivers and these tight ends to show what they can do from a route running perspective. Because if you can, because it doesn't matter what the scheme is, if you're a good route runner, you're gonna get open. And can these other quarterbacks like Josh Dobbs and Brandon Allen and even Tanner Mordecai, can they run that type of offense it's not like the Shannon. He's not scheming everybody open for you. So that ought to be an interesting little wrinkle. But I think I'm pleasantly I'm pleased with Pearsall so far. I think a lot of people thought because I wasn't happy about the pick. I'll be honest, I was not happy about the pick, but he's here now. He's a 49er, so we're hoping that he does well. I hope, man, he better do well. He better do well. And I'm not going to put unnecessary pressure on him to do well because he was picked where he was picked. I just want him to do well because he is eventually going to be part of Purdy's future. That's the plan. So, yeah, we just want to see progress. As 49er fans, we just want to see there's got to be gradual process. He doesn't have to be a world beater today because the 49ers got weapons all over the field. They don't need him to be a world beater today. They need him to be a world beater tomorrow. And so work towards that. Get these reps in. Get as much experience of. I want to see, can he get off the line? Can he get off the line? Can he be more than a Z wide receiver? Or I keep calling it Z. Can he be more than a wide receiver or a Z? Yeah, I was right the first time. Can he be more than that? Can he play Can he play the X spot? Because if Ayuk is not around, we're gonna need somebody to be the man beater, and because Debo is not that guy. He is not the guy that's going to beat guys up off the line of scrimmage. It's just not going to happen. So we need him to be that. We need Pearsall to end up being that guy, and to have two guys like that. Once they finally sign Brandon Ayuk, to have two guys like that, it'll be Purdy is going in a Shanahan offense is going to have a wealth of targets. But he didn't say Purdy. He was talking really good. Grant was talking really nice about Purdy the other day. He said that he looked really good. Now he was talking about Grant was doing Grant things. Okay, you got to take Grant with a grain of salt. Like he's gonna give you some truth, but he's also gonna give you some propaganda because that's his thing. Like don't yeah, can't hate the player, you gotta hate the game. Uh, yeah, we were just talking about Roberto. We were just talking about To's son, and so far from what I've heard, he's looked pretty solid. But I mean, he's not playing. He's not playing against the ones. So, but I didn't. I mean, this is the thing. We all know how many wide receivers are on this team right now. The odds of him making the squad over a Chris Conley or a, I think Ronnie Bell is not in the real. I think he's kind of playing himself out of a position. But Chris Conley looked good today, and Chris Conley has looked good in this offense. I think Tariq Owens has a really good chance to make the practice squad, like for sure, and just keep developing because I mean he wasn't supposed to make the team, so I think that he could be something like similar to Chris Conley. Chris Conley came made the practice squad. He had played meaningful snaps for other teams, but just couldn't catch on anywhere else. Ends up on the 49ers practice squad and ends up in meaningful games. So, like, I mean, if that could be a trajectory for Tariq Owens, great for him. Great for him. Like, I mean, Jawan Jennings was on the practice squad at one point. So we just gotta look. We just gotta look at that as. But I think he looks solid from the videos that I saw of him. But he said, listening to Grant is like reading the Inquirer. Yeah, it kind I feel you. I feel you on that. And honestly, like big up to Grant. Like he does his thing. He's got million and something like I mean hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Like I mean, he's doing something right. So give the man his big ups. And JD, yeah, JD says that he's gonna make the practice squad. That's my take on it. Like I think he's gonna make the practice squad. Oh, don't say that, Papa. We don't want him in Dallas. We don't want him in Dallas at all. I would like to see him catch on and be and another big physical receiver. I think that is an untapped market for the 49ers. And if they can get him, I think like blocking and like all that good stuff, maybe he can learn a little bit from Jennings. That'd be great. That would be great. What else we got going on? We are almost out of here, but yeah, Brock's still looking solid. Oh, we want to talk about that running back room. So, running back room. We know you got CMC. Elijah Mitchell's looked like Elijah Mitchell's looked solid. He hasn't gotten hurt yet. But hey, Elijah Mitchell's a good running back as long as he can stay healthy. Now, with um, the X factor here, and by all accounts, is Jordan Mason. This is the first time that I've heard Shanahan say that Jordan Mason, like give Jordan Mason really good reviews. It's always been people having to ask him questions about Jordan Mason. And Jordan Mason has looked phenomenal by all accounts in this camp. He broke off he broke off a run today. From what I heard, he broke off a run yesterday, and he's looked really good in passing situations as well. From all accounts, he's looked much better in the passing game. Jordan Mason is would be a perfect complement to CMC, and so Elijah Mitchell And then Shanny said this as well. Shanny said this as well, is that nothing against Elijah Mitchell, but Jordan Mason's looked really good. He's just looked really good. And so I think that's the people are trying to make something out of Cody Strader, uh, like he's going to make it. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think he's going to end up on the practice squad. Not that he's bad. Not that he's bad. I just question the athleticism. And I wish nothing best. I would love to have him on the practice squad because you need serviceable guys on that practice squad just in case something happens with the other guys. So, but I want my ideal running game for the 49ers, for in my opinion, just for me, is CMC getting about at the very most 20 carries, and Jordan Mason getting about 10 to 12. That is my ideal running game. I would like to see them run the garbage out of the ball. But I know that they're not going to run the ball that much. Like, I think it's going to be more along the line of what we saw this past season. How they stepped away from the running game at times, and I think that we're going to see a lot of only 20 rushes a game. As Brock matures and Brock progresses, I think that that's what's going to end up happening. As long as Brock progresses and Brock matures, that is, and I think that is the direction that the 49ers are going to end up going. But and in that case, I'm hoping that CMC gets about 15 carries, and then you get Jordan about 5, and then Elijah Mitchell can play spot up, he can clean up duty. That's my ideal. I just think that this running back room is deep. It's deep because I think that Isaac Garendo, we haven't seen anything from him so far, but and it really kills me that I don't think that we're going to see him in preseason. I think that is going to end up making him take a red shirt year, and I don't think they're going to cut him. I just think they're going to put him on IR. I think he's going to be one of those guys that gets put on IR for the whole season and give him a season to get into the system. I would be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. Who fumbled today? I didn't hear about anybody fumbling today except for Latu. But Bashar says, I love the way Brock told everyone about his aspirations to be dominant. I did. I like that as well. And I like that. I just think that Brock just needs to go out there and do it. I think that says more than any words. He just needs to go. He just can say, hey, I'm going to let my play do the talking. Because at this point, he's done what he's done. I think that he's been phenomenal for the 49ers. I don't think he needs to say anything else about where he wants to be. He's already the most efficient 49er quarterback in 49er history. Just go out there and improve. That's it. I think that, and I was talking to somebody about this, and I can't remember who it was, but I wish I could give him credit. But I was talking to them about, Shanny's offense, and I'm not going to turn this into a Shanny rant, but the thing is that Shanny's offense. I don't know if everybody listened to the Tim Kawakami interview, but Shanny talked about at length about how his offense is it just makes it easier for the quarterback. And the quarterback doesn't most quarterbacks that he's ever had don't really like going out of the structure of his offense because it just makes them it's just easier to stay within the structure of the offense. But in my opinion, and maybe the chat can tell me different, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but in my opinion, there is there's a ceiling for this offense when they stick to the shanty, when they stick to the scheme and don't veer out of the scheme. To me, that puts a ceiling on the offense because it will get you so far. What we've seen from it is it's going to get you so far against in the regular season. You're going to put up a ton of points. You're going to put a ton of you're going to get it done. You're going to get wins. You're going to get win games. All that stuff. You're going to have end up with the most efficient quarterback play in Niners history. That'll happen with this offense in the regular season. But in the playoffs, when you go up against those better teams, when you go up against those better teams, those are the times when you've got to make plays. I think that is the point where we need to be able to see, can Brock go outside of the offense? Can he go outside of that? Can he punch a hole in that ceiling? And can he do something off script? And now, granted, I'm not saying that Brock can't do stuff off script. We watched him do off script stuff all last season and in the playoffs. It's not that he can't, and that's not. It's coming out wrong. But what I mean by that is at the line of scrimmage before you hike the ball, can you go outside of the offense? Can you make do you see something at the line or in the coverage that you can just change something in the moment to make that big play? And that is what's going to me is what's going to break the ceiling off of this offense. And that's what's and shit because Shanny said that, hey, I welcome that. If they want to change something, go ahead. So it shouldn't be an issue. So now we're looking at Brock. Hey, he said it's fine. So you need to take it upon yourself to go ahead and do your due diligence, trust in what you're seeing, and make that read. Make that read, make that play. Go against the offense, put Ayuk in motion one time for the because we don't ever get to see Ayuk put in motion. If I see Ayuk go in motion this season, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm just letting you know. Yeah, JD says if they carry 5 backs, they're not going to carry 5 backs. There's no way on the 53 man. They can't. They're not going to do that. Maybe. Hey, I don't want Steve-O to be up in my mentions. say, oh, you said they can never. They haven't done it before. So as far as I know, it would be it would be crazy if they did do that though. James Wilson, appreciate you coming through, fam. Love getting in the comments. Super Bowl bound, Purdy. I hope so. I feel like the floor for this team. I feel like the floor for this team is the NFC Championship game. After that, I think that's it. I think that this team is the cream of the crop for the NFC, as everybody has already said. And Bashar said, "Great point about going be that's all. It's just really we've seen what can happen. We've seen what can happen already with this offense. Now we have to take the next step, and the next step is having a quarterback that can make those adjustments. So that's what I want to see from Purdy. I'm pulling for him. I think that he can do it. I think he's got the right mindset for it, and I think he just needs to feel comfortable. And if Shanny can say that, that could be why Shanny said it in the interview, so that it can make Brock think that, hey, Shanny said I could do it. I might just try it. But yeah, so that's what I got for today. I do want to mention one more guy because he's really right now he's my favorite guy on defense. Can we talk about how Diamador Lenore is just looking like he's about to be a household name this coming season? I think that he's going to be on a lot of highlight reels this season, and he's got so much swag. He made plays last season. I thought he should have been on the top 100 as well. The 49ers got so many good players. That Shavarius Ward was not on the top 100. He was an all pro. He was an all pro, and he didn't make the top 100. But Demo, I think, is just about to gain a whole bunch of people's respect this season. I think he's about to be a household name. He's been making plays all training camp long. Coaches talking about him. You can hear it in the interviews. The other players are talking about just wait, just wait. Demo is my guy, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. Absolutely, Bashar the hyena. I think I I'm just gonna put this out there. I think that Demo has an opportunity to be an all pro this year because of his versatility and because they can put him wherever. And I think he's gonna get some sacks this season. like I think that they're gonna use him all over I think that they've been putting him everywhere in camp, and they've been using him to blitz. I think he's going to be a weapon on defense. So watch out for the hyena. He gonna be, yeah. I don't sleep. Don't sleep. I know Niner fans aren't going to sleep, but tell your friends. Tell your friends to tell your friends so they can be friends. It's coming. Yeah, I did too, Bashar. But yeah, he picked him on his mock draft. I did too, and yeah, he was one of my guys that I thought would be. I thought he was just going to be a slot receiver. I had no clue that he was going to be as versatile as he is, and but I knew that he could be a uh, solid slot guy, and who knew? Who knew? But especially early on because it was kind of rough in the beginning. But he just kept working and kept building up that skill set, and I think he's taken something. I think he took something from Steve Wilkes last season. I think that made a difference in his skill, in his technique, and then I think he's learning more against from Staley this off season that I think is going to add another level to his technique, and I think it can only be good for him. So, um, McDiner says that apparently Lenore reports are Lenore and our 49ers are in contract extension talks. He's versatile and homegrown. Man, it depends on how they're going to pay him. Are you going to pay him as an outside corner or a slot guy? Because if you play him as a slot guy, I'm sure that they're going to want to pay him as a slot guy because he's cheaper that way. But if I'm him, I'm wanting to be paid as an outside corner. So that ought to be an interesting contract talks. But we're not going to hear nothing about it until next season. So, but with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. If my time is up, my wife is going to kill me if I stay any longer. So, but I appreciate everybody coming out. He had a really good turnout today. Bashar, Papa J, JD, McNiner in the house. highly in the building. James Wilson. Who else? Roberto, appreciate you coming through, fam. Stevo, even though you can't, even though you're trying to throw salt, I love that you came in the building. CG, my boy. JC, even though he got kids, coming on in. Justin, he's our resident Jet fan. Make sure you give my guy a follow on Twitter. And yeah, throwback. Last but not least, always a pleasure. But appreciate everybody coming out. Make sure you give the video a like. Make sure that you give it a subscribe. Make sure that you hit the bell so you get the notifications for when I go live. And yeah, once again, hey man, tell a friend to tell a friend so we can be friends every day, every week. And we about to get it. This season's about to start. I just, man, get excited. Get excited. And woo, I'm so ready for this season to start already. And we haven't even gotten to the first preseason game yet. But you know what it is. I will see you guys next week. I'll be on with Beto and Brandon next Tuesday, and then I'll be back again. I should be back again on Thursday. I delayed the show this week to Friday because I thought we might hear something on Ayuk, and I wanted to make sure I got in for that, but it didn't happen. But it is what it is. So I'm sorry to make y'all wait, but yeah, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. I really thoroughly enjoy these shows and having all of you guys come in and talking 49er football. It's just, this is the community that I want to just keep pushing. So make sure that you let people know and bring your friends in, bring your family in, okay, so we can all be a family. And with that being said, we're going to get out. But as always, go Niners.